Hello viewers, welcome back to my YouTube channel, English and Literature with Carol. Now we had started with Fathers of Nations and introduced different characters. In the previous video, I hope you've noticed that we considered a little bit of forward and the four strangers that checked in at the Seamount Hotel. Now we slightly mentioned Dr. Afolabi, and I would like you to pay attention to Dr. Afolabi. That's why we are here to mention slightly something about Dr. Afolabi. Remember, we said he had been interjected by Miss Fiona McKenzie. Miss Fiona McKenzie introduces herself as Fiona McKenzie, and she tells us a little bit of her background. There's something that Dr. Afolabi pays attention to. That Fiona is quite fluent, so that means she has more fluency than any other local person, and he thinks to himself, cute as a battle. So there's and sharp as a needle. He thought that is what Dr. Afolabi thinks, and he's trying to interview. Miss Mackenzie is trying to interview Dr. Afolabi because he has come at the summit. Everyone knows that he has come at the summit as an advisor. Being a doctor shows that this one is an intellectual. This summit will be attended by an intellectual, that is Dr. Afolabi. And Fiona McKenzie puts him on the spot and asks him, "Now, I have read your book, Failure of States, and you have come here sounding so optimistic when he says that the summit will be a success and he has come here to become the advisor. So why are you so optimistic? Well, in your book you sounded like a pessimist." So he gets a bit offended, but you will come to know why Dr. Afolabi, remember of suspense that you talked about, why Dr. Afolabi is definitely optimistic, even though these heads of state, the fathers of nations, have come to discuss on the issue of way omega. Remember, they have the narrator tells us something interesting there on page 10. You could go to page 10 and pay attention to what the narrator tells us there. He says 49 foreign heads of state were in Banjul for the summit. They all looked happy. And why not? Had they not escaped from troublemakers in their home countries? Are those fathers of nations? They have been called heads of state. They are happy. They seem to be happy that they are escaping from their own country and probably have some rest. That should tell us that they are not really there to put their energy, their focus, their intellectual abilities in fathers of nations, as fathers of nations, in discussion of way omega. Remember, this one is a great strategy. If Africa would pick it up, it would be the best policy for us Africans, because they'll be dealing with coups, how to deal with coups, rigging of elections, getting developments. This is a good agenda, but I don't think the fathers of nations are there for the correct agenda. They are there, they are happy, they look happy, they have escaped from the troublemakers. That should tell you of the attitude of the narrator towards the heads of state. They are no longer called fathers of nations, they are heads of state. 49 heads of state. What makes them the 50 heads of state? Because of the host, that is the host president that will make the 50 heads of state. I thought they'll be attending that summit. We don't see a lot of zeal in their attendance. So that is something that you should note. The narrator takes us to the arrangement of why are these people, why are these heads of state housed in one place, and it tells us of all kinds of theories. That is very interesting. I think you should go and read. The narrator mentions that you may think that when you want to arrange these members, when you have one guest at your house, how do you experience that? Because literature is a mirror in the society. Look at the way the narrator tells us. If now you have 5 guests, how do you arrange them? Who likes who? Who would want to sit with who? If you sit, for example, he gives us an example of the positioning. He tells us Algeria should Algeria be next to Angola, because if you arrange them in the alphabets, this means that every time Algeria will be at the best and most convenient seat, while Zimbabwe there and Zambia will be the last every time. Some of those logistics may not make a lot of sense, but it puts into consideration if Kenya would be placed together with Eritrea because they are from East Africa. Does it make sense? If Kenya would be placed together with Tanzania, at least you can chat away in Kiswahili. Remember, not many know. So he gives us that perspective. The narrator tells us of those considerations. From there, from the seating arrangement, we know now they have challenges, accommodation, seating arrangements, so many logistics, but they have made it to Banjul, Gambia. Now, let's go to chapter 2. Chapter 2 is a scene, a change of scene. We are no longer discussing the heads of state. We are back to the Simmons Hotel, the West Wing, and there is someone that was, remember I told you who was in the West Wing? If you remember, that is Pastor Chineke Chiamaka. Now he has settled, and now we come to, through the narrator, we come to understand what was in the briefcase. They've been given the code, but what exactly has Agda put in these 4 strangers? When they open the briefcase, what will they find there? And there is a whole list of brochures, pamphlets. There is a way that you should pay attention to fathers of nations. The narrator there in chapter 2, because we'll see in that briefcase we have Way Omega, Part Alpha. There is something that is unique apart from the pamphlets and the leaflets that they are supposed to receive. There is a mobile phone that they are supposed to have. Remember, that's when we come to realize that the guide is not even willing to tell him to reveal his identity, and says that he is at a very delicate stage. So he gives conditions to Pastor Chineke Chiamaka. Surprisingly, Pastor Chineke Chiamaka has to comply, and he finds himself calling the guide sir, even because he knows he is still on a mission. And he's told, I cannot reveal my identity. That's what the guide says. Who is this guide, by the way? We shall continue to find out who this guide is. But there is an agenda that has brought them there. There's Part Alpha and Way Omega. And what is the agenda for them? The 4 strangers, each of them has come there and wants to support the Part Alpha. Remember the fathers of nations, those 49 heads of state, and the host being the 50th head of state. They are going at the Pinnacle Hotel to discuss Way Omega. Nobody knows about Part Alpha except this guy that you told about. There's someone that recruited them. Are you aware of this person that recruited the 4 strangers? That person that recruited them, they want a better Africa. They don't just want, they are from Agda, if you have forgotten. And we learn of those calls have not only been made to Professor Chiamaka, Pastor Chiamaka, but have also been made to Professor Kimani Karanja from Kenya, who has attended the summit. They have also been made to William and Lucy, comrade of Zimbabwe, and they have also been made to engineer. The last call that is made is to engineer Safe Tahir. that is the end of chapter 2. Did you enjoy the lesson? I hope you learned. Please give me some comments. I know you are enjoying this book. It's becoming better and better. Literature is a matter of enjoying. Enjoy. Come up with a strategy of even looking at people and saying, that one looks like Pastor Chineke Chiamaka. The way Pastor Chineke Chiamaka is full of drama. That one looks like a scholar with a big tummy. Who has that big tummy? That is Professor Kimani Karanja. How do you know this is a huge person with hair receding back to his crown? Because you've been given the description in chapter 1. Now we have been discussing, we've joined the chapter 1 and 2 to have a feel of the book, because if you disjoint them, you may lose that touch. That's why I don't want you to disjoint the books. And we have those episodes that are very important that you should pay attention to. Thank you for enjoying the lesson. Goodbye.